finally on our way to our last destination. 3 days to get here. So we basically reached the end of our trip. We arrived to our destination. It took us nearly 4 days in traveling, 1 day in jail, 3 airplanes, 4 separate trips. It's amazing. I mean, I'm really excited about this trip. It turned out to be nice, and hopefully we start diving the day after tomorrow. Can't wait to set up a barbecue. What a view. Amazing, huh? We're gonna have so much fun here. So here we are on our first day. This island is called Mangareva in the Gambier archipelago. It's one of the furthest island down from the main islands of Tahiti. It's very famous for its black pearls, but it's also famous for marlins, and this is what we're here for. The boat now is up and running, it's ready, it's already in the water, all the gear is in the water. We're gonna head out and we're gonna try a few spots first, check our gear, you know, easy diving, and just basically build the stamina, build the, you know, the performance. We have 10 days to dive, so we're not in a rush. There are a few fads over here on both sides of the island. So fads are basically what they're called fish attracting devices, and they attract a lot of fish naturally. There's the artificial structures put by fishermen. Basically, usually they collect a lot of pelagics like mahi and marlin, sailfish, what have you. So yeah, it's usually fun to dive around fads and film around fads, so that's what we're gonna do. And that box is ticked! Unbelievable, man. We just arrived, first drift, came along a nice fad, swam around it for a little while, nothing happened. So G took us around floating, basically drifting in the blue water. Only a few minutes, and then this beautiful fish came along, checking out the flashers. Took what I thought was a nice solid shot, and it's still on the line. Let's hope it stays. Give it another few minutes and then we'll start pulling. Easy. Travel all the way around the world to dive with a legend guide who I knew was gonna land me on the fish. First dive, first drift, first day. Unbelievable. Look at that baby, man! What do you say to that? Captain, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Perfect day. First day out, you know, drift for a short while and landed this beautiful fish. Can't ask for more. Yeah, 80 kilos. Thought it was slightly bigger. I thought it was around 90, 95, but can't complain. Half an hour worth of work. Man, I lost a huge dorado just in front of my face, just as I was looking back, huh? He just came in front of my face, man. Beautiful fish, huh? Big one. So here we are, we decided to take the day off. The weather wasn't so good, feeling a little bit guilty for not doing anything, so we decided to hike over Mount Doof over here. It's supposed to be nice. The scene from the top is spectacular and we're hoping to catch the sunset. First time I've seen lychees was in the Comoros. Loved them, and over here they're just as good and tasty.
Yummy, yummy.
It says we've climbed 242 meters from a total of 400. So we're nearly halfway. That's the good news. Bad news is, it seems to be getting steeper and steeper. Let's go, let's go, let's go! Did you see the slip tip gone through?
I didn't see it. It's in. I just saw the end of the spear, so the slip tip's inside him. I'm here with Jamal. He's just got a spear into a massive marlin. How was that?
Man, that's unbelievable. It's hectic. Jumped in for it the first time. I got caught. I couldn't dive. Came back again. Back to the boat. Took what seemed like a solid shot, but I don't know. The shaft didn't seem to go through all the way. This is a massive fish. The floats are still on the fish. I hope it just stays. Man, unbelievable. That fish hit the lines, went down first time, couldn't dive for it, and I was searching for it, and it was just behind my back. Couldn't take a shot. And then next time around, kept following the boat. Boat drove just beside me. Captain brought him to me face to face. He was very angry. Really scary seeing a fish like that coming towards you. It's very intimidating. So I took a side. He saw me, gave me what seemed to be like a nice profile to shoot, but he was quite far away. I shot him, a solid shot in the middle, but I doubt that the shaft went through all the way. It's a huge fish. This is probably 200 kilo plus. So it needed a lot of punch to get through. Didn't get through. Stayed on the line for a while, but then it took off. So there you go.
Try again.
We try again. Yesterday we encountered some technical problems, and basically what it was is that when we shot a big fish, the big marlin that we encountered yesterday, the shaft didn't go through all the way, but also so after shooting the fish, the slip tip basically broke out of the fish. So there are several issues here. We think that we can improve our odds. So what we're doing now is basically we're rigging a new shaft. So I'm using shafts called Mori shafts. These are 9.5 millimeter shafts. They are big shafts, but they are not the shafts the size that are intended for this gun. This gun usually uses a 10 millimeter shaft. This makes the shaft a little bit lighter, which means that the punching power of that shaft is actually a little bit weaker. So what we're going to do today is to compensate for that lightness of the shaft. We're going to make the rubbers ever so slightly a little bit shorter. The other thing we're going to do is that we're going to change the length of the slip tip. So the slip tip, which is this part over here, is basically the part that goes, that shaft basically is used to put that slip tip inside the fish, and then the shaft comes out, and then what's hanging in the fish from the other side is that slip tip, and it hangs like that. Now the longer that slip tip is, the smaller the chance of that getting out of the fish in any possible way. So that's what we're trying to do. We're going to change that from that size slip tip to a slightly longer slip tip done by a different manufacturer, which is supposed to be quite good for these kind of big fish. So we're with G right now in Poema, and G is basically putting the final touches on our shaft. We've changed the slip tip, just like we explained earlier on. We're using a different slip tip now. Hopefully that it's more difficult to lodge out of the fish once it's inside. And what we're doing also is we're gonna shorten some of the rubbers on this gun a little bit to compensate for a lighter shaft that I'm using, which I prefer. This is our captain, Roland. He's been basically guiding us through these rough seas, doing an amazing job putting us on the fish. Gerald Grave and Poema are very good friends and our guides for this trip. Basically both world champions, world record holders of Indo-Pacific marlin. And there are any experts in the field, and they are the ones, and they have put us on the fish a couple of times now. First day we landed our first fish, and yesterday we saw that huge fish, but unfortunately because of all these different circumstances we couldn't land it. But we're hoping that we will, see some more and maybe get more lucky. to start, the oysters have to be at least 2 years
Yes.
to start, not
Yes.
before that.
Not before that.
Okay.
Because it is not easy to
Introduce.
this the nuclei.
These are what they call the nucleus. So they introduce these small balls into the oyster, and basically with time the oyster starts forming a layer around it from the mother of pearl, and basically forms the pearl itself. And different sizes then correspond to different size final product. These are the same nuclei, but they are bio-coated, and they're supposed to produce a better pearl, a better end product, with no scars, or they control the color of the pearl itself. So this is where the real stuff happens. These are the workers who actually introduce the nucleus into the pearl. This is the position where they introduce that nucleus inside the oyster. It has to be placed over there, or otherwise it won't work. So that's just to show us, they opened one up where they've introduced the nucleus already, and you can see that yellowish shade over here. After they have introduced the nucleus to the oyster, they bring it over here and prepare it to be farmed. And basically they drill a hole in the side of the oyster, put what looks like a very simple fishing line just to connect it to these nets that hold the oysters and hold them in place so that they introduce them back in the water. They need to clean them very regularly to keep them healthy and to make sure that they are able to eat. The oyster is able to eat and feed and stay healthy. Every 3 months they go through a cleaning cycle. Basically, they bring them out, they clean them they clean basically the surface of the oyster, and then they introduce them back. And you see, these are oysters that haven't been cleaned, and this is how they look like. 3 months in the water, then these nets come out with the oysters. They get them cleaned and introduced back again to the water. The reason is that if they are not cleaned on a regular basis, that affects the health of the oyster itself, and it affects the quality of the final product, the pearl. The color is not rich, it's more pale, and so on. So this is quite interesting because they have, in this specific farm, they have 3 workers that are doing the cultivating and doing the introduction of the nucleus into the oyster. And to be able to control quality and to be able to know who's doing a better job, each worker's work is basically marked. So each net has the name of the worker. You can see it over here. The label has the name of the worker on it, and the color that specifies this is the worker and what they're trying to do. And basically, at the end of the day, they check how many of these oysters produced good pearls, good color, and how many were rejected, how many didn't produce any pearls at all. And this is the way they do their quality control for the whole process. So basically, these oysters, in the first time you introduce a nucleus, and after you harvest them, if they produce a good pearl, you can use them again.
Yes.
How many times?
Twice or 3 times.
Twice or 3 times. And they will produce the same quality, the same color,
Yes.
and the same size?
No.
Or the first time is better?
It's better.
It's
of
always
course.
better the first time. And when you sell them, then they sell differently, of course. This is grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3,
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
Okay.
It depends on shape,
Color and
weight.
beautiful.
Okay.
Great. There you go. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, Maroy nu ya.
So they keep them over here.
Yes.
After they have been, the nucleus has been introduced, they
Yes.
put them here and there.
Yes.
Okay, it's the same. So
Yes.
it's the same. So that cleaning machine, that one of the biggest investments they have is that cleaning machine. It costs 7 million francs. So you see it, they introduce it on one side and it comes out clean on the other side. An amazing operation, huh? See the amount of work involved. It's a huge amount of work. I mean, that cleaning process goes around all year long. As long as these pearls are in there, as long as these oysters are in the water, they have to be cleaned regularly, or otherwise there's no point of doing all of this. So you can imagine, one of the biggest investments they have is in this cleaning machine. Basically, this is a big washing machine that they use to wash the whole farm. They wash everything. They wash the float, they wash the nets, they wash the oysters.
to keep them healthy, to keep them alive, to make sure that the final product is good quality, good color. So I was really impressed because the amount of work involved, as I said, it's quite technical, it's quite difficult, it needs a lot of patience. There are several steps to it. Each person does a specific thing, they know what they're doing, they're specialized in that area, and basically there is a quality control system which is quite interesting as well. So quality and the final product is very important, and if it doesn't make the cut, it just gets destroyed. We've been here for 10 days now. It's our last day of diving. We're leaving in a few minutes' time. It's been such a hardship getting over here. So many flights coming all the way from Qatar through the United States to this beautiful group of islands. All in all, it was an amazing trip. We had a lot of difficulties with weather. We couldn't go out most of the time, but we did land on some fish. I caught my marlin. We came face to face with a huge fish, which could have been an amazing trophy, but that didn't happen. Sometimes you think about it, is it worth it? Traveling all the way across the world to shoot one fish, I think it definitely is worth it. You know, this is a beautiful place to visit. It's a heaven on earth. Amazing group of islands, so many things going on. The whole experience, just sitting over here watching the beach, watching the sea, it's so calming. There is no internet, no phones, no connection to the outer world, so you feel really isolated, but it gives you a lot of time to think about what you're doing and a lot of time to contemplate. Are we going to do this again? Absolutely. Rikatia as an island is quite an interesting place. Like, it's around 8 kilometers long, this island, quite narrow, with an atoll, very rich in sea life. It's supposed to be famous for marlin, but the island itself has two amazing peaks that you can see over there. We actually hiked through one of these peaks, around 400 meters high. It's a beautiful place. It gives you an amazing vantage point to see the whole island. People are very nice. It's an amazing place because it's also rich in all the plants that are available, all the fruits. There is lychee, mangoes, bananas, grapefruit, berries, you name it. And it's such a pleasure being here and being able to eat what you pick and basically eat what you catch from the sea. It's a fantastic place, beautiful place. It has a lot of potential. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of infrastructure to support interested visitors and spearfishermen specifically. So when you come over here, you have to bring everything with you, you know. Having said that, there is an amazing guide over here. G is a fantastic, world-renowned guide that can take you to all the right places and land you on some amazing fish. So all in all, an amazing experience. Definitely you want to be here again, and hopefully we're planning already for our next trip. It's our last day. We're preparing. In a few minutes we're going to go out on our last trip to the sea to hopefully try and see or catch another marlin. And then we're out from Rikatia basically towards Pipet, or the main island of Tahiti, and then from there to Los Angeles, and then heading back home to Qatar. So here we are, ready to board the boat, get out for the last time. Morning!
Amazing, huh? I tell you, last day always. Oh, thank God, thank God. Ah, that was lucky. It's not big, but it's beautiful, yeah?
On our last day, trolling for hours, G thinks that he saw something in the blue. So we turn around and it hits the lures. I jump in, took what seemed like a nice shot, and this thing was paralyzed, man. Couldn't move any further. Very easy, nice fish. Not the biggest of fish, but hey, can't complain.
This island is called Mangareve in the Gambier archipelago, famous for marlins, and this is what we're here for. Captain brought him to me face to face. He was very angry, very intimidating.
Man, that's unbelievable. 6 massive fish.
We came face to face with a huge fish. Sometimes you think about it, is it worth it? Traveling all the way across the world to shoot one fish?
Yeah, 80 kilos.
It definitely is worth it. Are we going to do this again? Absolutely.